Oh, hi, I didn't realize that it started. Anyhow, this is palindrometric, and I'm just checking in, see what's going on. That's my dog, Hardy. He's my schnauzer. Um, he might come in the back. You might be able to see him eventually. Anyhow, I had told you guys that I was doing boot camp. Well, it is kicking my ass. So it turns out that, hold on. So several years ago, I took an aerobics class, and at this aerobics class, like I was having a really, really hard time because of my feet. My feet. So there's Hardy. Ah, he's directly behind me. I can't tell the side. Okay. Anyhow, I was having a really hard time because of a lot of pain in my feet, and I never really went to a doctor, though I self-diagnosed myself as having plantar fasciitis. Um, I ended up dropping out of that aerobics class because of the pain. I mean, it's hard to describe. I mean, if you've ever experienced it and then really aggravated it, I think that maybe, you could understand. But I mean, it literally feels like your feet are on fire, like you are walking on fire, and that, needless to say, is not a very comfortable feeling. So, the second day of boot camp, which was on Tuesday of this past week, we were doing some jumping around, and I would say like 5 minutes into it. Oh, and that's little girl right there. That little one, I rescued her from my neighbors, and I haven't decided yet if I'm going to keep her. She's really hard to potty train. Um, anyhow, so on the second day, we were doing a lot of jumping around, and about 5 minutes into it, I was in excruciating pain. I mean, it was unbelievable. It was, again, I mean, the whole like walking on coals of fire. So, I didn't quit boot camp, but I definitely slowed down that day. And after, I was just really frustrated and angry that I'm joining this boot camp, or I'm, trying to participate in this boot camp to get, in better shape and to lose weight. And then, here I have this problem facing me that my body is telling me, no, you can't do this. And I'm trying to tell my body, no, fuck you. Like, I can't do this. So I came home and I called around to different sports medicine doctors that I was able to see my insurance covered, and I was able to get an appointment with one of them. So I went in later that day to a doctor, and he confirmed the fact that I had plantar fasciitis. I was begging him to give me cortisone injections in my plantar fascia, which he refused to do. He says that he doesn't do that on the first. He likes to try other things before he'll actually resort to the cortisone. So he prescribed for me something called Mobic, which has the generic name of meloxicam. So, can you see it? Yeah, where you go? Yep, so this is what I got, meloxicam. I took it, and it's an anti-inflammatory, so it's just like just an extra strong NSAID. So I took it, and I woke up Wednesday morning, but I was late. So Wednesday was the first day of dissertation boot camp. That was running from 9 to 5, and basically it's just to teach us some skills on how to focus more and get more accomplished on our dissertations, so we can get them written and get the hell out of our school. So I completely slept through my alarm. I didn't hear it go off, so I missed boot camp, and I woke up at like 8:45, and I was freaking out because dissertation boot camp was or dissertation lab was starting at 9 o'clock, and I just threw on some clothes, just really kind of cloudy and confused. I grabbed my computer and I ran out the door, and I had my car in reverse, and I looked up into the rearview mirror, and I noticed that my eyelids were so swollen that I couldn't open my eyes all the way. So this like kind of droopy eyelid thing that I was feeling because I thought I was really tired was actually physical. I really did have eyelids that wouldn't open up all the way. So I went to class, or to the boot camp for the dissertation, and during break I called over to the doctor's office and explained what was going on. And so he called me in a prescription for a different type of NSAID that I've actually taken in the past and didn't have any problems with. And that one is, dun, 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 can you see it? Naproxen. So I started taking the naproxen on Wednesday. I made it to boot camp on Thursday, like I was supposed to. It was the last day, and thankfully we were doing more of strength toning than actual like jumping around cardio kind of stuff, because I'm sure that would have sucked. Anyhow, on Friday, was it Friday? No, it was Thursday. Yeah. On Thursday, I did the dissertation boot camp again after exercise boot camp, and I really couldn't. No, wait a second. I'm retarded. It was Friday, so boot camp was over. Dissertation boot camp still the final day of it. I went in, and I was there for about an hour, and I was just really tired, just exhausted. So I went in. There's a little area that's kind of like blocked off, and that area kind of just sort of hides some tables and chairs. And I laid down between two rows of chairs so that I was not visible to anybody, and I fell asleep, and I woke up an hour later. And I was working again for a little while, but I just was still, again, just really, really exhausted, and I couldn't focus. So I decided that I would just pack it up and go. So I'm getting ready to leave, or I am leaving actually, and I run into a friend of mine, and he's like, "What's wrong with you? You look so disheveled." And I explained to him the situation that was going on with the Mobic, and then how I had switched to naproxen, and that I was just feeling really weird, and I thought maybe I was having an additional allergic reaction. And so he kind of did this like quick examination and pushed on my ankles, and when he removed his fingers there was a divot remaining. So I was retaining water, so I was having an allergic reaction to the second NSAID. So I called the pharmacist, and the pharmacist was like, you need to call your doctor. So I called the doctor, and I got an appointment to go in, and I discovered that I really don't like this doctor. I mean, he didn't even examine me. I mean, I felt like he was kind of trying to blow me off, like I wasn't really having any sort of issues, when in reality I was. I mean, my friend did a better physical examination than the doctor did, and yeah, he's a PhD student and he will be a doctor someday, but not a medical doctor. He's interested in psychology of the brain and the biochemical responses of stress. So I thought that was kind of interesting. Anyhow, so I got a prednisone injection. So they gave me a prednisone injection, prednisone being a steroid, and then they sent me home with prednisone. Yay! Well, they sent me a prescription for it, and I had to go get it. Is it showing? Yep, yay. Prednisone. So now I'm taking a single prednisone once a day for 5 days. I have an appointment on Monday with a physical therapist, so I will be able to actually start working on trying to get rid of the plantar fascia issue. I've been doing a lot of stretches myself. I bought a new pair of shoes. My dog, he likes to sit directly behind the chair. I don't know why. He's kind of crazy. Anyhow, I bought a new pair of shoes, these Asics, with this very enforced arch area. And these are actually really comfortable. They have gel in the foot part as well as in the heel part. So they're really, really comfortable. I like them. I can feel them actually supporting my arches and applying pressure and, you know, keeping them intact. So it was kind of funny because so apparently I have really high arches, but I also am an overpronator, which is it overpronation or supination? Well, it's the one where you like your feet kind of like as you walk you move inward, see, on your toes, and so that actually kind of forces my high arches to flatten out and causes a lot of stress and strain on them. Anyhow, I realized today that I also have shin splints. I didn't know what that was called, like the pain that you have on your shins, like, and it's something that I've experienced off and on for a really long time. So I was reading about how if you have shin splints, then it can also cause overpronation. So I'm thinking my plantar fasciitis is actually a symptom of a larger problem, which is just basically that my musculature and my bone structure are just not appropriately aligned. So I'll bring this up at physical therapy and hopefully be able to get everything corrected. So I also learned to tape my feet. So my feet are presently taped, and I got these supports for your calves to kind of see if those will help with keeping my shins in place, and then also seeing if that will in turn help me walk more on the mid part of my foot than on the inside of my foot. So yeah, that's where I'm at. I'm really hoping that all of these things work because I'm not willing to give up boot camp. I mean, I'm gonna do this, and I would prefer to do it so that I'm not having excruciating pain while I'm doing it. If I have to adjust, then I will adjust. But I mean, I need this. So, I mean, my feet can be in as much pain as they want to be, but when it comes down to it, it's really ultimately not as important as the fact that I need to get my ass moving, and I need to get some of this weight off. So anyhow, I just wanted to give you that experience, and then also I just got a brand new internet connection, and so I wanted to see how this is working with my new nice fancy HD webcam. Okay, anyhow, thanks. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.